Oh, the gentle snail. Slowly, slowly it moves. Its once cold and calculating plots, now thwarted by a simple pane of glass. You take no pleasure in watching it, with its immortal struggle now blockaded, its supernatural mind outsmarted. It simply wanders about aimlessly. You could almost feel pity. Still, you take a step back to admire your great trap. Ooh! A stabbing pain in your chest. You've been played for a fool. The trap was yours all along. Yet you have little time to think, as everything fades to black. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Studio Ardia channel. I'm your host Jared, and today we're going to be doing something fun. If you've been around on the internet for a little while, you've probably heard of the Immortal Snail meme. From what I can tell, it originated on a Rooster Teeth podcast, and then was popularized through platforms such as Reddit. Basically, the meme poses a question, or it began with a question. You and a super intelligent snail both get $1 million, and you both become immortal. However, you die if the snail touches you. The snail always knows where you are and slowly crawls towards you. What's your plan? So my goal is to turn this meme and this proposal into a playable board game. There's a ton of discussion and lore surrounding this question, with lots of proposed solutions, some radical, some simple, some completely illogical. And I'm not going to get super deep into it. If you're not familiar with the meme, go look it up on Reddit, go look it up on Know Your Meme, and you can read up on some of the background. If you are familiar, hopefully you catch a few of the references and deeper cuts that I've from the meme and the discussion about it that I scattered throughout the game. So how do we go about turning this meme into a board game? How do we finally fulfill people's dreams and let them live out this scenario in their real lives? Well, let's jump into Tabletop Simulator and see. Okay, so for this game we're going to need a board to play on. There's going to need to be a snail and a person. Snail chases person, person runs away, and it goes on in an eternal struggle because you're both immortal, unless somehow the snail catches up to the person and you both die. So yeah, that's the board game. Hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a lot. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment. Subscribe to my Patreon. Join my channel membership. Yep. Okay, I'll make the game fun. So what exactly does make a game fun? Well, this game is about telling a story. The story of your life if you were found yourself in this situation presented by the question. I've divided it into 4 easy steps. First, objectives. Second, obstacles. Third, limitations. And fourth, options. You put it all together and you get one of the core principles of board game design called ULO. Yep, write that down. It'll be on the test. Definitely a very important industry term, ULO. So let's talk about how we're going to apply ULO to this Immortal Snail board game. Number 1, objectives. We need an end game for the player to work towards. Otherwise, like you saw before, they'll just be running around a map forever, avoiding the snail and not having very much fun. Based on proposed solutions on Reddit, I've created 4 different solutions that should give the player something to work toward. For number 2, obstacles. Obviously, the main obstacle is the snail themselves, but in testing, that wouldn't really create enough tension and enough interest to make a fun board game. And so we're going to add decoy snails who will also circle the map, go around the map, making so the player never quite knows where the real snail is. And this is also inspired by several people's postings on social media about this problem, saying that the super intelligent snail could create decoys thus thwarting your traps or your plans. Number 3, limitations. Obviously, an eternal chase would come with some costs. Physically, moving around constantly would cost money, and the constant fear and the constant chase would be a drain on your sanity and on your mental health. So in the game, players will have to manage their finances, invest their money, and also maintain a certain level of sanity in order to stay mentally stable. And the 4th is options. The player needs to be able to make meaningful choices. In board game speak, we call this decision space. So the player will be able to choose what objective they want to pursue. They'll be able to choose how they invest their money, how they spend their money, and of course how they move about the map and how they interact with the snails in order to try to survive. So with that, you can say bro did some cooking up. I added some objectives, I added some obstacles, I went full, and here it is on the game. And it's finally ready for reveal in its final form. Let's talk about how we applied Ulo, and then I'll show you a little bit about how it plays. So first of all, objectives. Up here we've got cards representing the objectives I listed earlier. So you have your tungsten sphere, you have send the snail to space, you have go to space, and you have live a fulfilling life. And each one has different requirements. So for the tungsten sphere, you need to find the real snail. You don't want to accidentally invest all your money in a decoy. And you have to pay $30. For fulfilling life, that's the most difficult objective. You have to complete the bucket list, which is its own card over here. You have to have a sanity above 10, and then at the end you have to come into contact with the real snail, which is easier than identifying it because you can just run into all the snails, but still has to be done. Over here we've got our obstacles. So as you can see, we've got 5 snails here. There's even a 6th up here. Depending on how difficult you want the game to be, you can add in more or less snails. And as you can see, one of them has evil glowing eyes on the other side. So you choose how many you want, mix these up, and then place them on the board so that you're not quite sure which one is which. For the limitations, down here we have this, which tracks the number of turns we've been in play, and as you can see, the further you get along, the more dangerous it becomes. The longer you've had to deal with the snail and the constant stress of the chase, your sanity decreases faster. So your sanity starts at 20. Once you get to the yellow, past 10 turns, your sanity decreases by 2 every turn. If you get to up here, it decreases by 3 every turn. And if your sanity reaches 0, then you lose the game because you've officially lost your will to live in this scenario. Also, limitations. You have your money. You start with only $20 bills. And I know it's supposed to be $1 million, but I've tried putting $1 million in and it crashes the game, okay? So it's gonna be 20. Alright, now let's talk options, the most important thing. So here we have a list of the actions that we're able to do in the game. Each turn, a player gets to take 2 actions. You can move on the board. You start somewhere, right? You can move on the board. Any white line, you can move across for free. Any yellow line, you pay either in dollars or in sanity. You pay $1 or sanity. So basically $1 represents you get a taxi or a plane or a bus or whatever, so you ride in comfort, or you can drive or walk there yourself, which would be a burden on your health and your sanity. Or a red line is $2 or 2 sanity, again for the same reasons. And if you take 2 moves in the same turn, you get minus 1 sanity for additional moves. The more you move around, the more you uproot your life continually, the faster your sanity will decrease. But you can invest and build houses on the map. So if you visit a location with where your house is, then you get +2 sanity. A second action you can take is to invest money. So up here we have our investment options. You can invest in space travel, invest in technology, invest in the stock market, or you can donate to charity. And here you can see it's the $10. This means it'll pay out in 10 turns, and your payout will be based on dice rolls. So you take a 6-sided dice, roll it, and subtract a 4-sided dice from it, and that will essentially be a multiplier for your payday. Same thing with this. And then stock market will pay out $1 for every $5 you spend. So it's kind of just to give the player some options. And then charity, for every $1 you donate to charity, you increase your sanity. The third choice or action you can take is to purchase an item from the shop. So $2 for salt. Salt will either, basically the snail, let's say the snail's here, I'm here. Either the snail has to find a different route around the salt, but if it can't, then it will go to the salt, and then, sorry, that's not the right snail. Then the snail will flip over, revealing whether it's the real snail or a fake snail. And if it's a fake snail, the salt will obviously kill it, and both it and the salt are removed from the board. The second thing you purchase is a cage. If you need to give yourself some time, you can lock the snail in a cage. It'll stay in that exact location for 3 turns. Remember, this is a super intelligent snail, so it can find its way out of cages, it can find its way to move around. So obviously this is not very realistic, but number 4 is a plane ticket. Now this one's a little interesting. For $4, or it's not number 4, it's number 3, but for $4 you can either move yourself to any location on the map, or you can move a snail to any location on the map for $4. So if you want to try to isolate yourself, or isolate a snail, or you're just trying to get away, that's the way to do it. And then the last one is $10 for a house, and a house gives you a place to visit to regain sanity, and it also is important for the live a fulfilling life bucket list item. And that's the basics of the game. I'll show you a couple turns, but if you want to see a full playthrough of this game, then let me know down in the comments, and maybe I can make a video about it. I don't know how many people would be interested in that. This video is probably long enough already, but let's just to show you the flow of the game and exactly how you operate everything, I'm going to go ahead and show you. So depending on the difficulty you want, again, you pick a snail and objective. I'm going to pick send the snail to space because I don't want to be trapped up on Mars personally, but the snail can leave. So I'm going to play with 5 snails, mix them up. When it's digital, it's kind of harder to mix things up with your eyes closed. I'm just like trying to half close them so I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. And then you scatter them across the board, but one of them has to be adjacent to your starting position. So pick a starting position wisely. I am going to go down here, so I'll put one here, and then obviously you're going to put the other ones far away. And again, obviously deciding where the snails start is not very realistic, but it's part of the game. I'm going to put this one down, I'm going to put them up here. So, take a turn. First thing I'm going to do is I need to get away from this snail. I'm going to move here, which costs, I'm going to pay $2 just because I don't want to already be losing sanity. Jeez, this is annoying. How'd these get flipped over? And then I'm going to invest money just so I can show you guys how it works. So I need to invest in space travel twice. So I'm going to invest I'm just gonna go all in and invest $10 in space travel. So what I do is I pick one of these markers here. Let's pick the purple one because I like purple. And then, so it says the payout will be in 10 turns. So I come down here to this tracker. I'm actually supposed to start here. 1, 2, obviously it'll be turn 10, but you'd count up 10 from where you are or from the next spot. And so when this marker reaches here, you'll get your payout. That is 1 turn for me, so all snails will move one turn or 1 space towards me. So they can move across the white in 1 turn. And then any red or yellow, it takes them 2 turns. So if this snail next turn, it would move and just be sitting in the ocean. But it would be, that way it takes 2 turns to cross those further distances. And then we move this up, we move our sanity down 1, and it's my turn again. I kind of just have to survive for a while. I don't have a lot of money. If I go here, that's cheap. Then I can put salt here. So that's $2. Sometimes these piles won't merge together and it's super annoying, but $2. Alright, that's some salt on the board. Now it's the snail's turn. Is that all the snails? 1, 2, 3, 4. I thought I was playing with 5. Oh. I think I forgot to move that one before. Oops. And I'll move closer. And I want to show you how this would work. Say I got to turn 10. This would get cashed in. I would roll the dice here. 5. That means I'm definitely getting a payout. And a 1. So my payout would be 4. So I would get my money back plus $40. Oh man. I'm not counting all that out, but you get the idea. But it takes 10 turns. I obviously jumped ahead, but so this kind of has good payout, but it takes a long time. This one has a decent to bad payout. It's shorter. This one pays off every turn, but it takes $5 before you even get $1. And that's pretty much the game. Like I said, if you want to see a full playthrough, let me know down in the comments. Yeah, feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more board game content, and I'll see you next time.